Well, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had all the turkey you could eat or ham or whatever. We went out to a nice restaurant and ate Thanksgiving dinner. And I told you that I'd be on doing my thing again on Thanksgiving. So I figured I'd hit it round four. I haven't worked on the bottom yet, but I'm going to get the top done and turn it over and do the bottom. But this is starting to look like monocoat now. I mean, basically, it's relatively smooth. And it sounds good. So it's another round of. I did it with. I hit it with 2,000, or actually 1,500, 2,000, and now we're going to do it with 3,000. And how I've been doing this is I've been doing it in a section of about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bays wide. Do 7, 7, and 7. So I split it into thirds, and it's a lot of work, but it's coming. It's looking pretty good. Hey, Tony, happy Thanksgiving. Just a little while ago, I had a suit coat on and everything. You guys wouldn't even recognize me. So we're going to go with 3,000 this time and see if we can't make it even shinier. So if you want to stick with me, this is not instructional. It's boring. It's laborious, or whatever you want to say. It's just sanding. But you get to see what I got to go through to get these finishes to come up like that. And this one is almost there. It's almost there to where it needs to be. At least this part here, we'll turn it around and do the other side again. But you get to see the difference, how it will absolutely flatten out. I'm still got to do the flap, but we're going to sand all this and then buff it. So. Yeah, I hope you guys had good Thanksgiving dinners. I hope you're with your family and friends or whatever. I don't have a life. I have airplanes and stun hangers. Here I am. She should come up really good this go around. I got to do the flap too. We'll start the regiment with that. But I'll take it off to do it. It's 15, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. And I'll try to show you the difference with the camera, but you really can't appreciate it. I can't see it on camera, the difference, but I'll try to show it. And like I say, this is almost there. It has enough clear on it. I haven't burned through it yet, so that's good. It's got extra cord on it. And we'll weigh it up too. It should be lighter today. It was 52 yesterday. It should be 51.8 or 9 or whatever, because it's had a day to gas off. And I've been sanding on it. I sanded until we went to Thanksgiving dinner at 1. Some people want to see this whole process. It's just too difficult to sand and talk for an hour, so I just show it an hour at a time. You guys can get used to it. But I'm not gonna start a new airplane until I get this thing completely rubbed out, bench trimmed, all the flaps and stuff glued on, and the lead outs wrapped and all that. But I think I've made up my mind. We're gonna build one more Viper. And I was thinking about doing the straight trailing edge one, but I really don't want to. I think I'm going to just build another one of these. I remember how the straight trailing edge one, it flew as good as modern day stuff, which is not very good. So we'll have 3 to choose from next year. And I might paint it this magenta color. Something different than, or maybe I'll go to Sherwin-Williams and pick out some other candy color or something. I don't know. We'll get some more custom paint mixed up with a little wilder paint job than what I got here. Okay, let's see what that looks like. And we'll try to show it with this camera here. It actually needs to be sanded with 25 some more, it looks like. That's 1,000. If you look at this, you can see into the paint where there's little, hey, happy Thanksgiving, Gary, where you can see there's little imperfections. And you got to sand all those out in order to get that super shine. So, I mean, I could sand it with 320 and it'd go real fast, but then we'd have a rough surface. So this is 2,000 here. Let's try the 2,000. I'm still working on just 8 bays or 7 bays or whatever. Anybody that's ever polished a beam wing knows how much work it really is. And I haven't even done it to the other one yet. I have a lot of work cut out for me for this year, this winter. And I want to refinish the Junar. I guess we could do that again next, because it's going to get some woodwork done to it. I'm going to cut the bottom of the fuselage and taper it up and make it look more like this airplane than the other one. But I don't want to change the flight characteristics too much, because that airplane's a smoking flyer. The flight is good. But I would like to lighten it up some. Of course, I don't know. I lightened it up from the first go around, almost hit the ground. Matter of fact, I did hit the ground on the first flight after the refinish at John's, where the CG had shifted, and I didn't pay attention and coming on the reverse wing over and whap, slapped the ground. So I'm sanding with 2,000 here. Well, get this sanded and see how that goes, and then hit it again with 3,000, and then hit it with the Finesse It. Yeah, I see people jumping in and off, and I don't blame you. This is pretty boring stuff. It's all just labor. when you see this airplane, you'll go, damn, that looks like your thing. This is how I got it that way. Uh-oh, you're Harvey Ferguson. I don't know anybody be out cold as cold it is now riding. Okay, we're starting to get her flat, real flat. Let me get the camera in hand and I'll show you the difference. Except for right here, it needs some right there. There's a little grinding motion. Can't have that. Can't have that little rock in there to make it scratch. Yep, I think camera in hand may show it this time. But we're going to get that static electricity that I talk about when I get it smooth. And that's how I know it'll be polished enough. Okay, let's hit it with 3,000 now. Then I'll show you with the camera what it looks like. I'm going to do the whole model just like this. And this is the 4th time on this on the top of this wing, and I still got the bottom to do, so there's a lot to do yet. Several hundred hours, or at least 100. Okay, let's show you. I think if I shoot down this way, you can see. Oh yeah, that's better. That's better. Except for right here. Still got a little bit of brush strokes in it. Okay, let's grab this. I wish I need to put that head on this one that I can take the camera off this one. Oh. Hey, Gary. Yeah. Well, we just at this Thanksgiving dinner, we talked about what's going on in the world, and he was born in 1941, so he's not a boomer. He's pre-boomer. I told him he agreed. I told him my thoughts on what's wrong here. Okay, can you see how flat this is? I mean, it's pretty hard to see through the camera, but you see this is shiny on this side up to here, and this is flat. And it's pretty flat, except if you look in here, I can still see slight brush strokes in there. There's kind of a modeling thing going on. So I'll hit it again with the buffer, but I think it's going to need it again. You got to get all of that out. I mean, this, I had a big gaping hole right here, and I didn't show it on camera because it's embarrassing that I poked a hole in it with the Windex bottle. But it just shows you how forgiving dope is. The hole here and a hole there and here a hole, you know, I poked holes in it. You cannot see it. I don't know that I ever told the story. When I was in the Navy at Miramar, that's Millington, Tennessee, or not Miramar, NAS Millington. Miramar's VF-124, VF-211, fighter town. Anyway, when I was at Millington, we'd get off work at night, you know, go to the hobby shop, and I built airplanes in the hobby shop and then put them in my barracks. But we'd get off work. I had a brand new '74 Dodge pickup truck, and that's on Highway 51. We go to the hot air balloon and have a few Michelobs for a quarter a glass. I think it was a quarter. Yeah, it was a quarter a glass, a mug or whatever. And then we go fly airplanes in the Sears parking lot and under the lights. That's back when you could really have fun. You can't. I don't know. You just can't have fun anymore. I don't know what's up with society. They don't want you to have any fun. I know you're not supposed to drink and fly, but we did anyway. We were sailors. I used to pack up all the guys. You know, not everybody had a car. I sure hope this comes out nice for round 4. Oh shit, I just puked it on my pants. Got too much on this. But at this stage of the game, it's better to be too wet than too dry. If it's too dry, you stand a chance of burning it. You can already see it's picking up. It's the difference in shine. It'll be shiny enough when you can shave in it. So you've seen this thing born from concept, first piece of wood cut, to final finish. I have basically shown 100% of the steps. Still haven't got the plans yet. He's still working on them. But we want the best rendition, because I don't want to hear, hey, that don't fit, that, whatever. Okay, let's take some of this shit off here. I got get a little more heat into it. Hey, hope you're there. Oh yeah, it was a good one. No need to call me sir. My dad's not here. He was sir. I'm just hey you. We ain't in the military no more. There we go. A little less compound brings some heat. I always start on the wings because they're the hardest to do. Well, actually, I start on the nose to see if I got enough clear on it. But it's the easiest to do. Then I move to the wings, which is the hardest to do. And then back to the fuselage, then back to the stab and elevator, which I've sanded out already a couple of times. And I can see it dragging now. That's dangerous. Means the paint is getting hot. We're melting the paint. So we need another towel. Wipe that off. Let's see how it turned out. Then we'll go to the Finesse It pad. Let's see if we made some progress. Progress. This is all about the sanding. So we went to 3. Okay, let's finesse it. We'll finesse it and see if it shines. It's not perfect, but as long as it's close, we'll move on. Otherwise, I'll have to sand it again. Okay, change the pad. They have a pad with an F on it, meaning Finesse It. This has, well, I should put an R on it, for rubbing compound. You kind of want to keep the pads separate for different compounds because this compound's twice as fine as the rubbing compound. And this should polish up and bring the shine up. Yep, we're out of battery. So get another battery. There, come on off there. Boy, it's tough. Well, I got 3 batteries if I can get it apart. I better get this one charging. I'll get this one charging. Yep, she's completely flat. That's all right. I'll show you how I'm going to sand the flap. I'm going to take it off, put it on the foam pad and sand it. Oh, yeah, that's coming around. I went for 3 there. And I think I used to do this all by hand. Man, that would have taken some time there. But I used to do it. I used to steal my mom's lemon pledge to wax my airplanes with too. Let's see what it looks like. Then we want to get the snap test to see if it's starting to come around. I think it is. I think it is. We're only good to 3. Yep, there it is. Here's the snap. Beautiful. Okay, let's see. Can we see the difference? There's that side after the 3. I mean, that's good, but this is really good. Happy Thanksgiving. See, the shine from the 3 over is okay, but this is twice as good from the 3 out to the tip. You look here, it's kind of dull right here. Now all I got to do is polish. Give her the polish. Piece of something there. Okay, so we can sand it again, about 3 over. Sando, sando. And here's the kicker. You think it's done because it's this shiny. It's not. In a couple of weeks, when it's hard, I'll come back with 5,000 grit sandpaper and sand it all again till it's flat. It's called boned out. I'll bone the whole thing out. It'll look like milky. And then I'll polish it and it'll really shine. She'd be really shining then. Got all that smuts everywhere. So because I don't have any more 1/8 inch 5-pound wood, we're going to build it like I did. I just started using the 1/8 inch ribs. We're going to build it like I used to build them with 3/32. So it should even be lighter. I think the 1/8 inch ribs add a little bit for aesthetics in the covering, but 3/32 will suffice. So we'll build one with 3/32 ribs. And I might try a different trailing edge arrangement because my trailing edges leave something to be desired. You know, I talked to Billy about building a beam wing with a foam leading edge. So it would be a 1 inch wide, you know, the airfoil foam part 1 inch back. So it'd be, the piece of wood would be actually 2 inches wide, but it'd be a hollow tube with foam inside to keep it stiff. Then key the ribs in to that foam and put a cap strip on the back and then cap strips on every rib. Maybe we'll try that. Maybe I'll try my idea out. I do have a buck already set up for that. I'm not sure how I would attach it at the fuselage. I'll have to think about that. It'll have to be keyed in somehow. Because, well, that'd work, yeah. We'll cut it flat and epoxy it to the end of the fuselage. Yep, that's how I'm going to do it. All right, the next Viper build is going to have a D molded leading edge with 3/32 ribs, a 3/32 3/4 inch tail, a 3/4 inch trailing edge. So it'll have the 1/2 inch piece with the 3/4 on top of it, 3/4 wide, then 1 inch, and it'll have cap strips, 3/16 cap strips on every one. That way it'll sand in perfect. I think that'll, you know, it might add a little weight, but I think it would be aesthetically pleasing. I have a guy looking for some 4-pound wood for me. Any of you guys got any 4-pound wood you want to sell, let me know. I will buy it. Not 4 to 6 and not 6 to 8, 4-pound or below. And I ain't paying $17 a sheet for it. Ain't no way. And they don't even guarantee it's going to be 4-pound. It's 4 to 6. Probably more like 6. And I got lots of 6-pound stuff. I got enough 6-pound stuff to build 5 more airplanes. But 6-pound stuff is not going to give you an airplane this light. No way. So if I want to change construction and add more wood, it's got to be lighter. Maybe we'll go every other rib. Maybe I don't need this many ribs in it. It'll be a Viper, but it will be a modified. It won't be N30 legal. It'll be a late model Viper. Of course, I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't be N30 legal. It's going to follow the same parameters. So I have to talk to somebody that's up on the rules. Okay, we got 2,000 here. Let's sand from 3 to N. Because I'm basically building this airplane again, or starting to campaign this airplane, because it's a double header, double threat. I can go and fly N30, and I can fly Pampa with it. You get more flights. I get more flights. Because, when you go to a contest, you drive all that way and you get 2 flights. That ain't no good. I don't really fly 40 size airplanes, and I don't have a profile. I would rather just take one airplane and be able to fly 4 flights. Joe Gilbert and I were talking today, and we talked about, could Bob Gieske win the Nats in his prime with his Nobler? I say yes. Joe says he doesn't think so. I say yes. Or Billy with his Aries, could he win in today's climate? The only disadvantage that those little airplanes have is they don't have enough power. But if they put a 32F on a pipe in it, it'd be a killer. Because I got a Nobler 32F, no pipe in it, but they perform very well. And Bob, being the superior pilot he was, that's what I'm thinking about doing, Gary. Thinner ribs with cap strips, different leading edge, different trailing edge. Sand the whole thing. Something to give it a little better aesthetic look on the trailing edge. Some guys can do this trailing edge rather well. I mean, I got the bottom sanded pretty good, but the top didn't come out that good. Must have fell asleep. But if I do it another way, I can really be dragging. That's a good one. I'm not going to the Nationals with a Beamer that's not completely polished. I wish we could get back in the 180 building. It would look real good under the lights. course, they don't look bad in the sunlight either. And they're polished. I just got to make it look as good as I can. Just got to hope that it flies good. I'm sure it will. Straight, light, and ridges. And this wing did stiffen up quite a bit with the covering doped, you know. See, that was 2,000. Dry it off, see how flat it is. See, the only oh shoot, I don't want to dry it with that. The only problem with using capstone, be stronger. It did look better, but there's more parts. More parts means more glue equals more weight. Now, if it was a half-ounce penalty, I could see it, but if it's going to cost me an ounce or two, it's tough to justify. When I build my airplanes, adequate enough to do the job, not overkill, you know. Wendy uses half by half motor mounts and weird shit like that. The big Jim Greenaway theory, you know. And you just don't need it. You don't need a former every inch behind the trailing edge like Wendy does. Just rigid enough to do the job. Just I tried to build these airplanes strong enough to last one season. If they last more than one season, it's a bonus. Like my Junar XL is on, see, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. It's on its 6th season. That's 5 seasons over its lifespan. And it's still a really good flying airplane. Just doesn't look very good. We're going to have to freshen it up. I looked and we freshened that up 2 years ago. I've made top 20 with it 3 times. Which is odd. I never get seated, but they just overlook me. Like of course, I'm really not any threat to those guys on the top. They're just too damn good. But we're going to change that this year. We're coming back with a vengeance. I'm going to do like I did, I think it was 2018 when my dad came. I practiced every day. That's the best I ever flew, and I didn't make the cut then. Phil Granderson beat me out by 1/3 of a point. It's still the best I ever flew. I was on point. You know, you can only do what you can do. Well, you can get them still, Gary. But they're baseball bats. They're very heavy. So if you want them, what I do, if I wanted a leading edge that was shaped or whatever, I would just cut it on my router table. These leading and trailing edges I milled on out in the garage on my table saw out of a big block. You can't go to the hobby shop anymore and buy stick wood that's any good. It's either twisted or heavy. So I like I say, I just mill it up on my table saw. And then I ran it through the planer 735X, taking 30-second cuts at a time. It worked perfect. Now that you mentioned it, I think I milled it I sanded it to this shape, but I think that I could I sanded it to this shape. I think I could mill this shape up on my router table using a 1/2 inch roundover bit, or maybe a 3/4 roundover bit, and do both sides, and and that way it'd be relatively square and straight because you're doing it on a machine. We might try that. Let's hit it again with another fresh piece of 2000. If you look at this, if you were here, you could see the highs and lows in this, and it's still shiny in places, and you don't want that. You want it all flat. Just like my motor mounts, I milled those on the router table, milled a 1/4 inch out of the center of the 3/8. That makes a 3-ounce crutch into an 1.25 ounces. You take away all that maple, you don't need all that wood. If your prop and spinner are balanced, and you don't just throw on a prop without balancing it, you don't need all that hardwood in the nose. I don't use plywood doublers. I just use 8th or 3/32 balsa doublers with carbon sandwich between them. I'm not even sure you need that carbon. I think you could use fiberglass or just straight glue. I just do it because it's there. I got it. I'm gonna get rid of it. But I will never add carbon over the top of my fuselage anywhere again. It offers zero strength, as dope as the adherent, and it takes twice as much dope to fill as its silkspan does. And silkspan is stronger. So why would I put that carbon on? The only thing that it does do is it allows you to see the highs and lows, because by the time you sand it, you've sanded it all off. I got into it doing it like that because Hunt was doing it like that, and I'm not going to follow the leader anymore and follow me. This airplane is built 100% to old school spec. Another Viper. Another Viper, trying to make it lighter. I think I'm going to try to make it lighter and shorten the nose up an inch so I don't have to add extra paint. Somehow I'm going to have to move that bell crank and tank back, and maybe just a 1/2 inch, shorten the nose a 1/2 inch. This airplane, pretty standard nose length, 10-inch nose. I have built airplanes with a nose as short as 8 3/4. Boy, you better build it light. You better build it light. Okay, let's see how that did. We'll hit it with 3,000, then compound it up and see if it shines. It ain't nothing worse than having a shiny airplane to start, sand it out, and then dull it all up and go, ah, I ruined it. No. It'll be fine. Every time you do this, it gets shinier. Yeah, that's a lie. Every time you do it to a point, because you sand right through the clear. This was known as burning it off. What happened to my 3,000? Okay, I need to wet this up. Maybe I'll try a foam wing Viper. That'll work. It'd be heavier. I've had them before. It kind of defeats the purpose. You're trying to build light, you end up with a heavier airplane. Oh yeah, I can see it coming now. Can see it coming now. Smooth as a baby's butt. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I'm going to do the other side. And then the back of the fuselage. And flip it over and do it all again on the bottom. Let's see if we can get a look at it with that camera there. Okay. Needs more water. All right, so we grab this camera here, camera in hand. If you look here, this is pretty, but you see those little spots in it right there? All that's got to get sanded out. It's got to look just like this. And if you look over here, you can see all those little dots. Those are lows. So that all needs to come out. And it takes quite a few sandings to get it out to where it looks like that, where they're all out. So that it looks like monocoat. But it's a doable job. It's just very painful. And I know it's painful for you guys to watch me do it, but the only way that it gets done is if I sit here and do it. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, Jeff, Annie, and Chewy. So this is, I see right there, I can see, let me put my finger on it. I can see right here, slight imperfections. Oh no, that's, yeah, I guess it is a little bit. You can still see the brush strokes in it, just barely. But we're getting them. I mean, all that'll come out. It's just all about the sanding. All that will come out. Even these spots here will all come out. And it depends on what you want. Are you willing to sit there and sand all that out? You know, yeah, it looks shiny when you polish it, but all that will come out. By the time it's boned out, that will all come out of there. And we're getting a good shot of what I'm looking for there now. So you get back over here, and most of that is out of it, out towards the tip where I polished. So I think that if I do another polishing and another sanding, that'd be the 5th round. This is round 4. But I won't do that until I get the other wing caught up to this side. And I need to do the back half of the fuselage. Happy airplanes, yeah. Let me get another water. Too many cameras in the way. Thank you for not falling off the wall. I'd hate to lose that one. It hasn't been completely trimmed yet. It hasn't even been rubbed out all the way. The orange one has not been rubbed out all the way yet. So I got the orange one to do. This too. Nope, you wouldn't be able to. I only use one layer of fiberglass. One layer of half-ounce cloth would not hold its shape. You'd have to have at least 3 layers, probably. No, at least 4 layers. Half-ounce, 2-ounce, 2 layers of 2-ounce, and then So it'd be a sandwich. It'd be 1/2 ounce on the inside, first layer, then 1 or 2 ounce layers to go down next, and then a 1/2 ounce over the top of that, and then take the wood out, and maybe it would hold its shape. But I kind of doubt it. It would probably have to be even thicker than that. You know, a Corvette body is not thin. It's rather thick. It's like 3/8 of an inch thick. So it's many layers of fiberglass. Yeah, bloopers, and I don't have any bloopers. You guys get to see how I fix them right in real time. I fix them in real time. And man, if you're going to build them, you're going to make mistakes, and you better know how to fix it. Okay, we're back to the R pad, which is a 3M 06085 rubbing compound. This is the best stuff I found, along with the Finesse-It, which is, I don't know how much it is now, but it was $37 a pint. Let's see what it is now. Amazonio. I'll tell you what it costs now. Let's see. We go to Amazon, type in 39003. 39003. There we go, 3M. The 36060 is $40 for that bottle, and this pint is $30.43. No, that's not. To say, let's see, we're looking for Finesse-It. No. They don't even make this stuff anymore like I got here. They have a different part number. Let's see here. Finesse-It 2. $95 a pint. This is Finesse-It. Yeah, this is Finesse-It 2. 3M machine polish. What's the difference? 05928. Oh, that's a quart too, so let's see. Finesse-It 2, no. Finesse-It, that ain't it. 39009. This is a little different. 1 pint, 16 fluid ounces. $30.43. Finesse-It. Okay, the same polish is in a different bottle. 05928 is the quart bottle number. It's $55.98 a quart. But I bought it by the pint, so it's about $30 a pint. Let's see. 39003. Yeah, they don't have it. Let me see if I can find my buy it again. Wish list, shopping list, buy it again. Let's look in here. I want to see my buy it again list. I haven't bought it in a while, so it's probably fallen off this list. That shit, what 3D Final Touch Quick Detail was not worth buying. Stopwatch, one shot. That's $50 for that little tray. Man, I spend a lot of money. That pot was 15. Nope, can't find him. Can't find him. Oh well, it's around $30. $30 a throw for a pint. But it's good stuff. there's petroleum in it. You can smell the petroleum in this product. And you say, what does that mean? Well, I'm not sure. The gasoline or whatever's in it kind of helps melt the paint. Put too much on again. Yeah. Well, you guys know what I'll be doing for my Thanksgiving buffing. We run an hour. Now you guys want me to stay, I'll run another hour, but after that I gotta have some noise. If you're not interested, I'll end the program and continue to buff, and we'll come back when I got a little farther along. Here's a trick too. You see what I did wrong side. Let me get this camera on the other side. If you're going to use a buffing pad on a drill or an object like I got here, these buffing pads are 3-inch. Take the pad, the backer itself, on your sander and cut at least a 1/4 inch out. I also do this on these pads. I haven't done it on this, but I'll do it, show you. Is I take the scissors and I cut this edge off. And you ask why? Because when you run into the fuselage, that edge will cut a line into your fuselage. So I cut that off like so. And now when I put it on, I can run up to the fuselage and not run the hard wheel into the side of the fuselage. I've been doing that ever since I got this thing. That's probably the reason why I hadn't done it yet, is I hadn't got close to the fuselage. But I just spun it up on the, spun it up and run it on the belt sander and took about a 1/4 inch off the wheel. And run that wheel into your fuselage, it'll dig a big hole. Ask me how I know. Okay, let's see what it looks like. For you guys who are new to the channel or new to model airplane building, I am buffing paper. This skin is paper. It looks pretty flat there, but I think it's going to come around. So we'll take the F model, the Finesse It model, and I'll cut that edge off it. Because I don't want to run into the fuselage. And we're getting close now. Yeah, you see how I know it's also petroleum, so it's right on it. Flammable. So you can smell it. It smells like kerosene or some type of petroleum product in it. Okay, let's clean that up. Throw on the secret sauce and see what it looks like. See if it snaps. I think it's getting close. It's getting close. Okay, secret sauce time. You prick. Yeah. Need a little caddy for these airbrush bottles. I think I'll make me one up. So we need another towel. It's looking pretty good, pretty good. Yo! I think tomorrow I'm going to go paint a window. I got to go get some eggshell white indoor paint. Ah, damn. Keep jumping on the floor. Make me bend over. Pick it up. Yeah, we almost got it. This is real close. Probably one more time. We got 2 more times on the other wing, and then we'll do that over there, other side. The flat. It'll take me 100 hours, I'm sure. I gotta do these flaps. I can do these off the airplane pretty easy. Now, when you're doing these flaps, be careful, because even though you think you got enough paint on right there, you don't. Trust me, you don't. You'll burn right through it. So I got a little bit of clear and a little bit of light blue left over, that in case I burn through it, which more than likely I will, I can touch that back up. I got smuts everywhere. Yeah, we got to buff some more right here. We didn't get it very good right there. Well, do you think it lost any weight? Remember, last night it was 52 ounces. You think we're down to 51 and change yet? Let's weigh it up before I end the stream. I say it's down to 51.9 or maybe 51.8. And that ain't bad. I mean, yeah, we shall see. All the time. All the time. Booter bugs. Yeah, we get them. Get on there big time. Are we down to 51? Of course, roll on the floor. Bye. Power. Then you see the scale. Lay these bottles down so I can get a hole in the wing again. Are we down to 51? What did I say? 51.9. 51.9 ounces. Now it's 52. Can't make up mine. Oh, we're on this thing here. Let me. It's gassing off. 51.9 ounces. I defy anybody to build this airplane lighter and look good. It's got to look good. Oh, now it's back to 52. I can't tell. The scale's screwed up. But it's going to go down. It's probably 50. It's right in between 51.9 and 52. As it gasses off, it'll lose some weight. Now, if it was summertime, I'd put it in the car where it's hot and burn up, bake some of this paint, and it would lose some weight. All that smell you smell it from fresh paint, that's it gassing off. When it quits smelling, it's gassed off all the way. But I smell dope all the time because I got it in my nostrils. And that's just the way it is. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. I mean, it's got its mistakes. I haven't been able to build a perfect one yet. But when you see it on the flight line, they'll be hard to point out unless I point to them. You won't know where they are. But of course, I know where they are because I did it. Boy, that spinner's pointy. I'd say that's pretty shiny right now. I mean, it's probably passable for the gnats. Like I say, we'll get it better than that before the gnats. But it's close. I mean, that one wing is. This other wing is not. This wing here, it's shiny, but not completely flat, It's because I worked on this wing more. But it's not far off. She's close now. So we've been on an hour and a half. You guys got any questions for me? Other than that, I get any bugs on the wings? Yeah, we get bugs all along the leading edge. Lots of gnats. When the cicadas are out, I get the cicadas in my lines. That year at Brodeck, when all them cicadas were out, oh man, they were thick. I hated to even fly because I could probably poke a hole in your wing. Of course, I wasn't flying beam wings, and I was flying D-tubes, and it's got quite a bit of area to protect the wing. But this wing here, a cicada could probably go through it, no problem. You take 55 miles an hour, you're flying around and hit a bug, yay big, yay big. It's put a big lump in you. That year, the cicada year at Brodex was extremely tough. The cicadas would get on my brim of my hat and be hanging down while you're trying to fly. They were thick. And I didn't know they live in the ground. I had no idea they come out of the ground. I guess they only hang around for, I don't know, 3 weeks or whatever it is, and then bury their eggs, and then 6 years later they come back, or 7 years, whatever it is. I just hope that Brodax this year is not a cicada. No, you do not polish between coats. You sand between coats, but you don't polish. I sanded this airplane between each coat with 400, and I probably could have used more sanding because I've got quite a bit of catching up to do at the end here where I didn't sand enough between coats, but I'll recover it. John has seen me recover paint that's, it's pretty bad, but it takes a lot of work. Because I will sand this again. It'll get sanded again with 5,000 and polished. And it'll really pop then. I mean, you're getting, all you're trying to do is get all these little tiny, all the little tiny imperfections out of it. That's all you're trying to do. You got to sand them down until it's all even. And you got to watch it. Depending on how much clear you got on it, you can burn right through the clear right down into the color. But this one has an extra quart of clear on it, so I got plenty clear on it because I've done it with 3 coats of paint on it and got them flat. So this has 6 coats of paint on it. As stated yesterday, bare wood, this airplane with no covering, no fillets, nothing on it, started out at 24.3 ounces. After its 1 quart of paint, meaning 3 base coats, then put the covering on it, the fillets, and 3 base coats over the top of the silk span, it weighed, and that includes the color, my half pint of color, it weighed 30.9 ounces. I sprayed on another quart of top coat. It weighed 32.8 ounces. With the hardware that I got in it, this particular engine tank combination and wheels and all that stuff, it's at 52, actually 51.9. And it'll gas down. It'll probably be 51.7 by the time we're done sanding and everything, even with the extra quart of paint on it, 51 ounces is not too far off my mark. I wanted it at 50 ounces, but it was so nose heavy that I had to add extra paint. Because it's better to add extra paint than it is to add a lead sinker back there. Because a lead sinker is concentrated weight, and that concentrated weight acts like a pendulum. When you turn a corner, it wants to keep going. At least with the weight distributed 80% behind the center of gravity, it's spread out. So it's not concentrated. That's why the engines are so important, to try to get all this unslung weight out of it. I don't know how much you guys know about racing and tires and things, but race cars want the lightest wheels, the lightest brakes. That's called unsprung weight, meaning that the tire is always sitting on the ground. It's not sprung with any shocks or springs. Well, that's basically what you got in the nose here. This is, I don't know, it's not unsprung, but it's the concentrated weight that gets you. That's why the airplanes with Fox 35s that only weighed 6 ounces go snap. He just, there's no weight up there. And this motor here is 11.5 ounces, and because it's a ABC liner, and if I could get it down to 10, I'd really love it. I mean, so you could build this airplane for Super Tegra 46 or LA 46. But in my opinion, those little motors don't have enough torque to do the job with authority. So the 60s, when I was a kid, younger, we flew 049s, half A's, and then we went to 15s, and then 29s, and then 35s, and boy, we thought a big motor was a 40. And when I got my first 35, I go, man, this thing is huge. It's a tiny little engine. Now it's like nothing. It's zero. And you put a 60 up against it, that's a little over half a cubic inch, or a 75, which is 3/4 of a cubic inch. That's pretty good size. I got a piston and liner here out of a PA75. It's a brand new piston and liner that I bought because you can't get them. So I decided that I would have an extra liner and piston on hand for my 75. Just to have it, but I'm going to measure it up here and tell you how big this is. I think it's an inch. So across there is, where's my calipers? Over there. 35 size piston is like nothing. It's zero. You were zeroed there. Bigger than an inch. It's 1 inch, 40 thousandths. Nope, bigger than that. 1 inch, 49 thousandths. That's a pretty hefty mama. Let's measure across this way. 149, and the piston is, that can't be right. Of course, it may be, got quite a pinch on it. It's actually 151, and the piston should be read 151 or somewhere close there. The piston is bigger. No. I gotta go front to back, not side to side. 151 and a half. Or a little, I don't have a last word to read in tenths, but the piston is bigger than the liner because you can't push the piston up through it. And that's what gives you the compression, the pinch at the top. But this is brand new. And I thought 35s were big when I was a kid. Wow, it's a huge motor. 40? Well, that's really big. Now we're flying 75, 1 cubic inch motors. It's actually 3/4 of a cubic inch, but it's a 75 is over square. A square engine is, we'll just use 1 inch so you get the idea. A 1 inch bore with a 1 inch stroke is a squared engine. A PA 75 is a 1 inch bore with 15/16 or maybe 7/8 stroke. I'm not sure what it is. I'd have to measure it, and that's called over square, where the piston's bigger than the stroke. And what that does for you, it gives you a lot of torque. And a long stroke motor will give you more torque than a short stroke motor. A short stroke motor will give you more RPM. But if you're looking for torque, that's why a diesel runs 1800 RPM, maybe up to 2000, because it has such a long stroke and small bore. That leverage, that angle, and I'm not a mathematician or anything like that, I just know mechanics. That angle pushing down on the crankshaft is what gives it the oomph on the lower end. But you can't run a long stroke engine very fast. That's why we used to take for sprint cars a 350 block and put a 283 crank in it. That makes a 301. It's a short stroke 350. That motor will rev 10,000 RPM on it, like an Iscaderian roller cam or whatever. It'll run 10 grand. Not long, but they will go 10 grand. The truck block 4-bolt main. But here again, what do I know? I'm just a dumb model airplane builder, Harley mechanic, knucklehead. Someday I'll learn something. Well, I think I'm going to end the program. Been on an hour and 45 minutes. It's tough for me to talk for an hour. I'm going to continue to sand and buff, but run the TV. I'm going to do the other side and redo the fuselage again. We'll get some more sanding on this. Get this smoothed out some more. Get this polished up a little better, and the back half, and then flip it over and do the bottom. And then I'm going to wrap the lead outs, not tonight, but on the next program, we'll be wrapping lead outs and bench trimming on how to get it set up to go to the field, hook up the lines, and actually fly on the first flight instead of having any goofy shit going on. And that part of the bench trimming is that adding that extra paint, because I knew that the CG was too far forward. So the second one turned out an ounce lighter than the first one, with a better finish. So I'm figuring that the next one, the third one, will turn out even lighter with a better finish. Because we're going to try some different stuff. And if Billy don't like that, well, hell with him. But the most impressive airplane that I've seen at the Nationals as far as weight goes is Billy Warridge's Razorback P-47. 53 ounces. That's a big mama. 62-inch wingspan, but it's only 10 inches wide, too. 10-inch chord. 62-inch wingspan, but the fuselage is a honking mama. But he's got it somehow. He's built it light, and I tried to build one light, and I know damn well that's why it's hanging on the wall. I know damn well it's going to be 65 ounces finished, and I'm not happy with that. Of course, I think Billy's running a 65 in his, and there's a big difference between the motors. You know, you got to add the extra fuel. You got 8 ounces of fuel instead of 7. You got bigger pipe, meaning more weight. Back to Bob Galdini's barbell effect. Bigger pipe, bigger prop, bigger means more weight. And there's just no way for me to catch him with the big block iron. And if you watch when I watched his airplane in 2004 at the Worlds, it was so damn impressive how it turned. I said, I gotta have one. And there were no plans, and that's when I started taking the measurements and built the first three. Number one, which Joey Matheson has a SV wing in it, SV22 wing in it, clipped wing, number one. And number two has the Geobolt wing in it. And then the one that I got on the wall is number 6. It has my revised Junar XL wing in it, which is a super wing. Super, that's a good wing. But so is this. This is the shoe. I'm going to put powered by shoe on the side of it, maybe. Shoe wing or airfoil by shoe. But that's how this was done. Airfoil by shoe. And if you think I'm kidding, I've shown how to do it several times. Well, I appreciate you watching. Happy Thanksgiving, all. I'll probably see you tomorrow. I'll probably still be rubbing. I'm going to get this project done first. I got to find a place to put this thing. I'm going to have to take some airplanes out to the garage. Kia ora! Yeah, we had a good turkey dinner. Like, subscribe, share. And I'll see you tomorrow. Fair winds, tight lines. See you. And I'll leave some airplanes at the end.